Hello and welcome to the final lecture of Unit 2. This is Lecture 4. It is over Chapter 3, Section 4. It is over the Middle Colonies. The Middle Colonies include New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. If we look over here at this map, you have in the yellow, you have New England, and in the south, you have the Southern Colonies. And here in the green, we will have the Middle Colonies. In this region, you have the Hudson and Delaware rivers, which encourage shipping and commerce. Commerce meaning trade. If you think about it, the rivers encourage shipping and commerce because without these rivers, it's hard to travel and trade because you don't have interstate highways, you don't have semis, you don't have planes. You have to use the rivers if you want to transport a lot of goods anywhere. Now, the first thing we need to focus on about the Middle Colonies is that it is very ethnically diverse. And ethnic meaning different types of people, different beliefs, different religions, different races, everything. But diversity meaning that there's a lot of different types of people and they all kind of live together. So that's a big thing about the Middle Colonies. It's ethnically diverse. The first one we look at is New Netherland. Now, New Netherland is not a state, and we've talked about how these first 13 colonies all become states. So what we will see is New Netherland being taken over by the English and them changing the name. So the Dutch set up New Netherland originally, and New Netherland is built along the Hudson River in present-day New York. So we're going to get to eventually see how the English kind of take over and it becomes New York. But we have to start by learning the story of New Netherland. New Netherland got a new governor, who is this guy right here, and his name is Peter Stuyvesant, and he becomes the governor in 1647, and he expands the size of New Netherland by taking over New Sweden. So he is expanding New Netherland into other regions, so we need to keep that in mind. New Netherland's largest city was New Amsterdam. It is built to protect the Dutch West India Company's fur trading post. So the Dutch West India Company is kind of like a joint stock company that is setting up colonies in New Netherland. They are from the Netherlands. They are Dutch. And to protect these cities, they're building cities, or protect these fur trading posts, they're building cities like New Amsterdam. The Dutch West India Company wants to grow the size of the colony, and they want to do this because, like we've talked about, the more people you have in your colony, the more money you can make, the more farms you can harvest, the more crops you can sell, all of this kind of stuff. So they use this system called the patroon system, which is supposed to grow the size of their colony. The system is that a person would become a patroon when they brought 50 people to the colony. Once they brought 50 people to the colony, they would become a patroon, and they would then be given a large land grant. So patroons would be given large land grants. Because of this, you have all random types of different people coming into the colony. You're going to have religious dissenters, you're going to have Puritans, Quakers, German, Lutherans, French Protestants, Jewish settlers. So New Netherland is among the most diverse and tolerant of places. Diverse meaning there's a lot of different types of people, and tolerant meaning people live together even despite their differences. Now, the English saw New Netherlands as a threat. So if we go back to this map real quick, you will see that England controls the northern part up here in New England, and they also control the southern part down here in the southern colonies. Now, what the problem is New Netherland holds this area in the middle. So what you see is New England's colonies are broken up. There's something in between them. And what did we say Peter Stuyvesant did with New Netherland? He is expanding that. So what if he decides he wants this area over here or this area over here? The English always have to be on their guard. They have to be protecting that land. So they see this as a threat. So what they do is they have the Duke of York, which is this guy right here, they see it as a threat, and the Duke of York takes over the colony and renames it New York. So New Netherland becomes New York. Easy enough. So now another middle colony is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is founded by William Penn, who is this guy right over here. He kind of looks like the Quaker Oats guy, except maybe William Penn had a bit more Quaker Oats than he should have. He looks a little husky. It was meant as a place for Quakers. So William Penn is a Quaker. That's why he kind of looks like the Quaker Oats guy. But he says that it's going to be a holy experiment to showcase Quaker values, basically saying this is how Quakers live, and this is, if you see Pennsylvania succeeding, it's because we are following the Quaker ways. There was no tax-supported church like in the Puritan New England colonies, and it's open to all people and becomes very diverse. So this is kind of a theme that we're seeing in the middle colonies. New York, or New Netherlands, is very diverse. Pennsylvania is very diverse. Quaker values and Penn's policies helped poor people become very rich, and if more people are becoming rich in Pennsylvania, that means that more people are going to want to come to Pennsylvania to live. And if that's the case, then they're going to have more people in that colony, and if they have more people in that colony, that means Pennsylvania is going to become very wealthy. So Pennsylvania in the middle colonies, very successful, very diverse. So what we have now is that England is controlling all of these 13 colonies, and by the 1730s, the 13 colonies were thriving, which means they're doing very well, and the population was doubling every 25 years, which is pretty remarkable. So if it's, 500,000 people in 1700, by 1725 it's 1 million people, and by 1750 it's 2 million people, and it just keeps doubling and doubling and doubling. So societies grew that valued religious freedom, freedom of conscience, and representative government. So we're going to see that being a theme throughout the 13 colonies, but throughout each one of these lectures we've seen individual characteristics about each of the regions. So key in on that. That's really what this chapter is all about, the individual differences and similarities in between each region of colonies. So that's it for Unit 2. See you in Unit 3.